All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to go through Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. All right, let's get right to the first chart. So the first chart is basically a week over week. I will tell you, Friday, July 14th was a very red day for the Bitcoin miners across the board. A lot of double-digit red. So that probably left a lot of us with a bad taste in our mouth at the end of that week. But I want to show you, and this is why I do these weekly updates. When you take a step back and take a look at the week in total, it was actually an absolutely fantastic week for the Bitcoin miners. So yes, we did give a little bit back on Friday, but hopefully those of you who didn't lose perspective. Greenage was up 51% this week, and that actually wasn't even as good as last week. So GREE has taken off. Now, it's still a micro cap stock, so it has a lot of room to the upside just based on the fact that it was down over 99%, and it really hadn't had its run yet. So we'll take a look at that later when we look year to date. DMG blockchain was up 41%. That took a big move up this week. That's been lagging as well. Again, a nano cap, micro cap type stock. TeraWulf was up 33%. So that's not a micro cap stock. When we get to market caps, you're going to see this is one of the larger Bitcoin miners by market cap. Cypher, I think, is the fourth largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, and they were up 32%. Riot was up 24%. They are the largest Bitcoin miner by market cap. And then you can see a bunch somewhere around 15 to 17%. Then we had a few more at 11 or 12%. And then Iris Energy was up 7%, Hive up 8%, Hut was up 9%. So even those were actually really good weeks when you consider Bitcoin was up 0%. You'll see Core Scientific was 0% as well, but when we get to the year to dates, Core Scientific just took a little bit of a breather this week. It is far and away the best performer of the year this year. Bit Digital up 1%. It's one of the best performers of the year to date, so it took a little bit of a breather this week as well. So just quickly, I want to show you, if you enjoy this content and you want to see more and you want to help support the channel, you can become a member by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. It's right next to the subscribe button. Membership is only $5 a month. It's got to be one of the cheapest memberships on YouTube. We have a members only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes, so all the members get a special extra live stream once a week. In addition to that, we have a members only Discord, and I do a deep dive once a week on a stock that the members choose that is for members only. So there's a library of content ready and waiting for you should you choose to join. So I want to take this time to thank all the existing members for helping keep this channel going, and welcome to any new members. Now, this is the week before that ended on July 7th. So once again, you can see a bunch of these in the middle at 13, 15, 16%. The average was more like 20%, and you can see all of these severely overperforming. And once again, 2 weeks in a row, Bitcoin on this chart was also up 0%. So Bitcoin has not changed in 2 weeks. It's been absolutely sideways, and these Bitcoin miners in back-to-back weeks have made gigantic moves. So it's all too easy on a Friday afternoon where all the Bitcoin miners were red except for BitDeer, and a lot of them were double-digit red. You know, that's a tough way to end the week, but we are 2 weeks into a massive run-up in the Bitcoin miners. So I just wanted to start there and kind of remind everybody the Bitcoin miners seem to be getting healthy. Okay, now we're going to go year to date. This is where some of the numbers get absolutely staggering. To me, this is the best performing industry in the entire stock market. Drop in the comments below. I've said this several weeks in a row. I don't think there's an industry that comes even close to this. Obviously, there are other stocks here and there that have performed this well, but an entire industry as a group across the board, this is some spectacular returns. Now, we come from a very low place because 2022, as most of you remember, those of you who have been doing this for even just a little while, 2022 was brutal. These Bitcoin miners got beat up badly. All of them were down at least 90% off of their highs from November of 2021. So, you know, about a 14 or 15 month period, these stocks were down 90%. But you can see the tide has turned, things are changing. These moves to the upside are gigantic. So let's start at the top of this list. Remember, I said that Core Scientific was taking a breather. It was up 0% this week. Well, it's still up over 1,000% year to date. So absolutely spectacular from Core Scientific. They are still in Chapter 11. So to me, that's a big question mark. I personally did not invest in this, so I missed this giant run up. I thought the risk was too high, but with risk comes reward. So for those of you that did participate in this, congratulations. This is a monster return in just over a 6-month window of time. Cypher up 777% year to date. This is over $1 billion market cap company now. Cypher has been posting good numbers, but this is a dramatic increase. So again, to me, a grand slam home run. These two are among the top performers in all of the stock market. Then we dropped to third place. So this seems like a big drop off, but BitDigital's up 585% in the last basically 6.5 months. So again, a spectacular move to the upside. Digihost up 519%, Iris Energy up 471%, Riot Blockchain, which is the biggest by market cap out of all the Bitcoin miners that are publicly traded, they're up 454%. Riot Blockchain is now over a $3 billion market cap, but it was only about $500 million coming into the year. So a gigantic move to the upside. Looks like 464%. So TeraWolf, 429%. Marathon, the second largest market cap, up 428%. So we're halfway through this list, and we've still got every single one of these up over 400% year to date. Then we have a little bit of a drop off, 389% return on HUT year to date. Bitfarms up 348%, Hive's up 315%, Cleanspark, then a big drop off. Cleanspark is up 238%. So obviously, in general, if you were to say one of my stocks is up 238% this year, that would feel like a grand slam home run. And in a lot of ways it is, but I do think for me personally, and again, this is not financial advice, but I hold Cleanspark. I have added to my Cleanspark position. I think it has lagged. There's more than 10 Bitcoin miners that have performed significantly better than them this year as far as the stock goes, but I think they're one of the best performers operationally. So just one I'm looking at personally. Cleanspark up 238%. Then we have DMG Blockchain up 180%. We have GREE up 170%. I put that in purple for a reason. There's two stocks that are in purple. They are GREE and Stronghold. And the reason for that is we're now 2 weeks into the second half of the year. GREE is up 170%. Stronghold is up 69%. I want to show you where those two were just 2 weeks ago. GREE was down 2%. In the last 2 weeks, it's now up 170%. So it's almost like, they're finally getting their turn. So massive turnaround. Stronghold was down 13%. It was the worst performer by far out of all the Bitcoin miners year to date at the midway point. If we go back to this chart, you're going to see it's up almost 70% right now. So just in a 2-week period, it's done a lot of catching up. I think, to me, and for Stronghold, that's another one. I think there could be a lot of room left to run there. So not financial advice, but that's a position I've been adding to as well. And then in last place is Any, only up 37%. So Bitcoin, you'll see, is up 82%. You'll see that in gold on this chart. So Bitcoin has had a spectacular year. It's still down 55% from its all-time high, so there is a lot of room left to the upside, but you'll see the vast majority of these Bitcoin miners are starting to play out the way that they should play out, which is as leveraged plays. 3x, 4x, 5x leverages. We felt that pain on the way down in all of 2022, so we're starting to see the reward now on the other side as Bitcoin gets healthy. So for me, I like to look at this chart and see some of these that are lagging and see, are any of these companies, do these have some good fundamentals down here, or are they lagging for a reason? Because you can see some of these happen in spurts. Again, GREE, which did nothing for 6 months, moved 170% in 2 weeks. So, is Any maybe the next GREE? I don't know, but these are why I put these charts together, and this is how I try to get some information out of each one of these charts. This chart is measuring where each Bitcoin miner was as of Friday, July 14th, versus their high of November 2021. So over a year and a half ago, almost all these Bitcoin miners hit their all-time high. Most, for those that it wasn't their all-time high, it was a local high in November of 2021 when Bitcoin did hit its all-time high. So since then, you can see Bitcoin's down about 56%. This week, something happened on this chart that has not happened since the peak. Cypher is now down 51%. It is now outperforming Bitcoin since November of 2021. So this is the first time that has happened. All of the Bitcoin miners, like I said, are a leveraged play on Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin went down, all of the Bitcoin miners were down even more. In a bull run, many of these should outperform Bitcoin. And you can see still for the vast majority, they are still underperforming Bitcoin. So that does lead me to believe that if Bitcoin gets healthy, if Bitcoin can take a run at some higher numbers, 40,000, 50,000, maybe ultimately get back to its all-time high somewhere, whether it's before or after the halving, there's a lot of room left to the upside. Now, not every single one of these companies is going to succeed. This is where you need to do your due diligence. It's possible some of these companies don't make it, they go out of business, or they just never get back on track and they linger around at very low numbers for years and years. So we do need to do our due diligence and we do need to pick the winners. This isn't just throwing a dart at the dartboard and wherever it lands, invest. But I do think there are several companies out of these that are still underperforming Bitcoin that ultimately will make much bigger runs to the upside. But the takeaway from this chart is, Riot is getting very close to Bitcoin. It's down 59%. Bitcoin's down 56%. So this is the biggest Bitcoin miner by market cap, and it has almost caught up to the performance of Bitcoin. And again, if Bitcoin gets healthier, this should be a leverage play to the upside. That's how it's played out in the past. No guarantee that that's going to happen in the future. So I don't look at this chart every week, but I like to throw in some charts from time to time that we haven't looked at in a while if something meaningful is happening. Okay, let's move on to the last chart. The last chart is market cap. Okay, so this is each Bitcoin miner's market cap. The top 10 of these actually stayed exactly the same as far as their ranking went. But you're going to see Riot and Marathon broke the $3 billion mark. BitDeer, which went public just a couple of weeks ago, that's why I have this in a different color. This is still relatively new to the chart. It was not a publicly traded company at the beginning of the year. They're at over $1.5 billion in market cap. That makes them the third largest. Cypher, like we talked about earlier, is now over $1 billion at $1.2 billion. HUT finished on Friday at $920 million. CleanSpark in sixth at $778 million. TeraWolf at $746 million. Then we have a pretty big drop-off down to Hive at 510. Bitfarms is at 489, even less than that. Iris Energy at 393. So some of these down here that I'm talking about, in my opinion, I do think these are still undervalued from a market cap standpoint. So I am looking at some of these. So again, do your own due diligence, but I think some of these do warrant a second look or a closer look or maybe a spot on your watch list. Bit Digital and Core Scientific were tied at 339 million, so I called them tied for 11th. They were in 11th and 12th last week, so not much of a change there. Lastly, we'll just take a very quick look. This is market cap by company. In purple, this is where they were at the beginning of the year. So Core Scientific was at $28 million at the beginning of the year. It's now at $339 million. And I'm just going to grab a couple randomly. TeraWolf was at $97 million. It's now $746 million market cap. So you can see these have had massive, massive changes. The biggest one out of all of these at the beginning of the year was Riot at $567 million. So that was the number one market cap out of all the Bitcoin miners on January 1st. Again, I'll just go back to the opening chart to remind everybody, despite the fact that Friday was a very red day, this was a very, very good week for the Bitcoin miners. Again, back-to-back super strong weeks. So it's now a new week. We'll see how this week goes. Congratulations to everybody who stuck with these Bitcoin miners. Hopefully your portfolio is turning around and things are looking good. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoy this content, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.